Hello, welcome to the information session for interested applicants for the 2023 National Center on Technology Systems in Local Educational Agencies. This is assigned assistance listing number 84.327T. This grant competition is funded by the Office of Special Education Programs at the U.S. Department of Education. I am Anita Vermeer, a project officer at OSEP, and the contact for interested applicants. I would like to go over some caveats before diving into this webinar. First, the intent of this presentation is to provide guidance only, and the information contained in this webinar provides a general summary of the information contained in the notice inviting applications and the application package. Therefore, it is imperative that all prospective applicants read the entire notice, application package, and any additional relevant information, such as the newly updated Common Instructions for Applicants, published on December 7th, 2022. Applicants are encouraged to listen to a more general webinar entitled Applying for Office of Special Education Programs Discretionary Grants for an orientation to the overall process. That webinar can be found at osepideasatwork.org. Today, I will cover the following areas. Purpose of the OSEP Technology Program. Key terms, absolute priority and purpose, application requirements, additional pertinent information, general requirements, and selection criteria. The Education Technology, Media, and Materials Program is known as eTech-M2. The purpose of the OSEP Technology Program is to improve results for children with disabilities by promoting the development, demonstration, and use of technology, supporting educational activities designed to be of educational value in the classroom, providing support for captioning and video description that is appropriate for use in the classroom, and providing accessible educational materials to children with disabilities in a timely manner. There are a few terms for this priority that I would like to highlight. The first in this priority, evidence-based, means at a minimum, evidence that demonstrates a rationale where a key project component included in the project's logic model is informed by research or evaluation findings that suggests the project component is likely to improve relevant outcomes. Framework refers to the theories, knowledge base, policies, and practices that form the basic conceptual structure of effective systems. A framework is a guide to increase the capacity of LEAs to understand, improve, and implement effective systems. Another term, systems, in this priority refers to interrelated components such as funding, professional development, data collection, accountability, and quality improvement that need to be in place to support the identification, procurement, deployment, and effective use of assistive and instructional technology. Assistive technology device is defined by Section 602 of IDEA as any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of a child with a disability. Instructional technology is defined as technology processes and resources that facilitate learning and improve student performance for all students. Please be aware of application timelines. This notice was published in the Federal Register on December 19th, 2022. All applications are due on or by March 6, 2024, before 11:59 and 59 seconds in the evening Eastern Time. We highly advise not to wait till the last minute or the last date to submit your application to avoid any possible technical difficulties on either end. For the fiscal year of 2023, we plan to support one absolute priority, which is to establish and operate a national center on technology systems in local educational agencies. This award will be a cooperative agreement. A cooperative agreement is similar to a grant in that its principal purpose is to accomplish a public purpose of support or stimulation as authorized by federal statute. It differs from a grant in the sense that a cooperative agreement is substantial involvement that is anticipated between the Department of Ed and the recipient. For this priority, applicants must demonstrate how they will establish and operate projects that achieve at minimum the following expected outcomes. Increase knowledge on providers and decision makers in LEAs about evidence-based assistive and instructional technology tools and practices for students with disabilities and their families. Increased effective use of assistive and instructional technology in LEAs within comprehensive and sustainable SEA-aligned systems as applicable. Other outcomes: increased partnerships between LEAs and community stakeholders to support sustainable and comprehensive systems, and increased capacity of providers and decision makers to sustain comprehensive LEA and state-aligned systems for the effective use of assistive and instructional technology by students with disabilities and their families. The application requirements are broken down into these 5 sections: significance, quality of project services, quality of the project evaluation, adequacy of resources and quality of project personnel, and the quality of management plan. The first section is significance. The applicant must describe how they will address the need for LEAs to build capacity to develop and sustain systems for the equitable and effective use of assistive and instructional technology by students with disabilities and their families. Improve outcomes in equitable and effective use of assistive and instructional technology by students with disabilities and their families, and indicate the likely magnitude or importance of the improvements. In the quality of project services, the proposed project must describe how it will ensure equal access and treatment for members of groups that have been traditionally underrepresented based on race, color, national origin, gender, age, or disability. Must also demonstrate how it will achieve its goals, objectives, and intended outcomes, which are measurable, and attach a logic model in the Appendix A. Other project service requirements to include is how the proposed project will use a conceptual framework to develop project plans and activities describing any underlying concepts, assumptions, expectations, beliefs, or theories, as well as the presumed relationships or linkages among these variables and any empirical support for this framework. Must also be based on current research and make use of evidence-based assistive and instructional technology tools and practices. The 5th requirement in the project services section is a description on how the proposed project will develop products and provide services that are of high quality and sufficient intensity and duration to achieve the intended outcomes of the proposed project. Increase the capacity of providers and decision makers to use the framework in LEAs. Provide universal technical assistance that includes dissemination of the framework. Provide targeted specialized technical assistance to a minimum of 8 LEAs. And provide intensive sustained technical assistance to a minimum of 2 LEAs. And please note the different levels of universal, targeted, and intensive technical assistance are defined in the notice. The last 2 elements of project services require the applicant to develop products and implement services that maximize efficiency, such as technology, collaboration, and non-project resources or initiatives to reach project's outcomes. And develop a dissemination plan that describes how the applicant will systematically distribute information, products, and services to varied intended audiences using a variety of dissemination strategies to promote awareness and use of the center's products and services. The proposed project must also include an evaluation plan that articulates both the formative and summative evaluation questions, including important processes and outcome evaluation questions to refine the framework and continuously improve the project's products and services. It must describe how progress in fidelity of implementation, as well as project outcomes, will be measured to answer the evaluation questions. In addition, the evaluation plan must also describe strategies for analyzing data and how data collected as part of this plan will be used to inform and improve service delivery over the course of the project, and to refine the proposed logic model and evaluation plan, including subsequent data collection. Provide a timeline for conducting the evaluation and include staff assignments for completing the plan. Dedicate sufficient funds in each budget year to cover the cost of developing or refining the evaluation plan in consultation with a third-party evaluator. In the section for the adequacy of resources, the applicant must demonstrate how it will encourage applicants for employment from persons who are members of groups that have traditionally been underrepresented based on race, color, national origin, gender, age, or disability as appropriate. Key project personnel, consultants, and subcontractors have the qualifications and experience to carry out the proposed activities to achieve the project's intended outcomes. The proposed project must also demonstrate how the applicant and any key partners have adequate resources to carry out the proposed activities, and the proposed costs are reasonable in relation to the anticipated results and benefits. Here are the requirements for the management plan. The proposed management plan will ensure that the project's intended outcomes will be achieved on time and within budget. To address this requirement, the applicant must describe the clearly defined responsibilities for key project personnel, consultants, and subcontractors as applicable, and timelines and milestones for accomplishing the project tasks. The plan must also address how key project personnel and any consultants and subcontractors will be allocated and how these allocations are appropriate and adequate to achieve the project's intended outcomes. Two additional requirements are that the proposed management plan will ensure that the products and services provided are of high quality, relevant, and useful to recipients, and the proposed project will benefit from a diversity of perspectives, including those of families, educators, TA providers, researchers, and policymakers, among others, in its development and operation. Furthermore, the management plan must also include documentation of the following: personnel loading charts and timelines as applicable to illustrate the management plan described in the narrative, and in the budget, attendance at the following: a 1 1/2 day kickoff meeting in Washington, D.C., or virtually after receipt of the award, a 2 1/2 day project directors conference in Washington, D.C., or a virtual conference during each year of the project period, one annual 2-day trip to attend department briefings, department-sponsored conferences, and other meetings as requested by OSEP, and a 1-day intensive OSEP review meeting during the last half of the second year of the grant project period. And also set aside a budget of 5% per year to support emerging needs that are identified with OSEP after the award is received. There are two general requirements: that applicants must make positive effort to employ, advance in the employment qualified individuals with disabilities in the project activities, and they must involve individuals with disabilities or parents of individuals with disabilities ages birth through 26 in the planning, implementing, and evaluating of the projects. Those that are eligible for this competition are SCAs, LEAs, including public charter schools that operate as LEAs under state law, IHEs, other public agencies, private nonprofit organizations, freely associated states and outlying areas, Indian tribes or tribal organizations, and for-profit organizations. The maximum award for this notice is $700,000 for a single budget period of 12 months. We estimate making one award for up to 60 months, and applicants must provide a budget for all 5 years. Please note the formatting and page limit recommendations. A page is 8.5 by 11 on one side only with 1-inch margins. Double space all of the text in the application narrative, including titles, headings, footnotes, quotations, reference citations, and captions, as well as all text in charts, tables, figures, graphs, and screenshots. Use a font that is 12 point or larger either in Times New Roman, Courier, Courier New, or Arial as they are recommended. We also recommend that you limit the application narrative to no more than 70 pages. This limit does not apply to some of the additional attachments, so you can refer to the notice of inviting applications in the package for more information. As part of the process of making funding recommendations, external reviewers will judge the quality of the application using these 5 selection criteria for each section of the narrative. Each application can receive up to a total of 100 points, with significance and quality of management plan can receive 15 points each, quality of project services up to 30 points, quality of project evaluation and adequacy of resources, and quality of project personnel can get up to 20 points each. And then the application package contains the information on the sub-criteria within each selection, and applicants are strongly encouraged to read those when carefully preparing the application narrative. I'm going to briefly go over them as well. So the secretary considers significance when it is a problem or issue is addressed, the likelihood that the proposed project will result in system change or improvement, the extent to which the proposed project is likely to build local capacity to provide, improve, or expand services that address the needs of the target population, and the potential replicability of the proposed project or strategies, including as appropriate, the potential for implementation in a variety of settings. The secretary considers the quality of project services of the proposed project being quality and sufficiency of strategies for ensuring equal access and treatment for eligible project participants who are members of groups that have traditionally been underrepresented based on race, color, national origin, gender, age, or disability, the extent to which the services to be provided are appropriate to the needs of the intended recipients or beneficiaries of those services, the extent to which the services will be provided reflect up-to-date knowledge from research and effective practice, the impact of services to be provided on the intended recipients and the intended recipients of those services. The secretary considers quality of project services for the proposed project by the extent to which the training or professional development services be provided by the proposed project are also sufficient quality, intensity, and duration to lead to improvements in practice among the recipients of those services. The extent to which the services to be provided by the proposed project involve the collaboration of appropriate partners for maximizing the effectiveness of project services, and extent to which the TA services to be provided by the proposed project involve the use of effective strategies, including the use of technology as appropriate and the leveraging of non-project resources. The quality of project evaluation is considered by the extent to which the methods of evaluation are thorough, feasible, and appropriate to the goals, objectives, and outcomes of the proposed project. The extent to which the methods of evaluation include the use of performance measures that are clearly related to the intended outcomes of the project and will produce qualitative and quantitative data to the extent possible. The extent to which the methods of evaluation provide for examining the effectiveness of project implementation strategies, the extent to which the methods of evaluation will provide performance feedback and permit periodic assessment of progress toward achieving intended outcomes, and extent to which the proposed project plan includes sufficient resources to conduct the project evaluation effectively. The secretary considers the adequacy of resources and quality of project personnel of the proposed project to the extent which the applicant encourages applications for employment from persons who are members of groups that have been traditionally underrepresented based on race, color, national origin, gender, age, or disability, the qualifications including relevant training and experience of key project personnel, project consultants, or subcontractors, adequacy of support, including facilities, equipment, supplies, and other resources from the applicant organization or the lead applicant organization, relevance and demonstrated commitment of each partner in the proposed project to the implementation and success of the project, and the extent to which the costs are reasonable in relation to the objectives, design, and potential significance of the proposed project. And the Secretary considers the quality of management plan of the proposed project with these 4 bullets: adequacy of the management plan to achieve the objectives of the proposed project on time and within budget, including clearly defined responsibilities, timelines, and milestones for accomplishing project tasks, extent to which the time commitments of the project director and principal investigator and other key project personnel are appropriate and adequate to meet the objectives of the proposed project, how the applicant will ensure that a diversity of perspectives are brought to bear in the operation of the proposed project, including those of parents, teachers, the business community, a variety of disciplinary and professional fields, recipients or beneficiaries of services, or others as appropriate, and adequacy of procedures for ensuring feedback and continuous improvement in the operation of the proposed project. For more information, you can reach me at anita.vermeer@ed.gov. So that is spelled ANITA.VERMEER@ed.gov, or my phone number is 202-987-0155. If you need help with the online system, grants.gov has a support desk, and their email is support@grants.gov, spell it SUPPORT, @grants.gov, and their phone number is 1-800-518-4726. And they do have at grants.gov a training available. So if you were to, the website for that is listed in the webinar and on the PowerPoint, https, and it's grants-portal.psc.gov/welcome. And there are also some other links and information, such as the ed.gov/OSERS/OSEP. And we have a Twitter, YouTube, and blog channels for more information. Thank you, everyone.